Welcome to Greenville, North Carolina. Happy Thanksgiving, first and foremost. Final week of the college volleyball season. Here in the AAC, the Temple Owls at 4-14, the East Carolina Pirates 6-11. Today is senior day in Minges Coliseum. What's up, everybody? Evan Budrovich, Haley Brooke-Weiss, former Wake Forest libero, stand out with you. So these two teams are not playing for an NCAA tournament berth. What are they playing for today?
So tonight is senior night. So really today what these players are going to be playing for is ending their careers or seasons on a really high note.
These teams are led by some young talent we're going to focus on. For Temple, Taylor Davenport both in the middle and the right side. How does the sophomore carry the offense?
Pretty much in every way imaginable. So she's carrying the offense predominantly on those pins, and she's really been able to convert no matter what kind of set that she's given, which is really impressive given that she's a sophomore.
Davenport gave ECU a ton of trouble, 17 kills when these teams met. One of the best players in the AAC.
Yes, ranked 5th in the American in both of those categories, points per set and kills per set, which again, the offense, we're gonna see a lot of sets be given to her today. The offense heavily relies on her performance.
East Carolina transfers with a freshman counters. Izzy Marinelli can jump out of the gym from the right side.
Yes, standing at just 5'11", she jumps so well and has such an arsenal of shots, especially for being a freshman. We see a lot of freshmen want to just take the big swing, which we can see a lot of those here, but she also has those great finesse shots that just make her such a lethal weapon at the net.
East Carolina 1-1 over the weekend, but Marinelli sure did her part.
Yeah, not too shabby, right? That's the kind of weekend you want. The only thing you're going to want to really pay attention to with these two teams is when you have a player on each team that's just kind of a standout at the net, the offense can get a little bit one-dimensional. So as a setter, although that might be your best hitter, you're going to want to spread out that offense a little bit.
Marinelli, a true freshman, 3-time freshman of the week. When these teams met in October, it was really competitive. 5-set match. 15-11 in that 5th set, so right down to the wire.
We're definitely in for some really exciting volleyball today.
3 seniors for East Carolina. They'll be honored after the match, so we'll save the waterworks for that final set.
I know, you might see some players getting teary-eyed. You for sure will right at the close of this match.
So Temple serves, and we're underway here in Greenville. Izzy Marinelli with an opening kill on her first swing.
She really thread the needle on that line. That's such a risky ball to hit on the first play of the game. Let's take a look at that out-of-system set. Thumb up and carved it. I mean, that's pretty textbook.
And Jelinska is playing the line. Nice job of evading that back row defender. Here's the setter coming in. Nice save by Alderetti on the tip shot. Boyd off net and in. Peyton Boyd had 15 kills when these teams met in October. Good start today.
And chatting with Coach before the game, one thing that I love that she mentioned is really how Boyd has stepped up and she's playing her best volleyball. She's a COVID senior, and that's really all that you can ask.
12 matches and double-figure kills for Boyd. And here's Davenport. Temple's a pretty good serving team. 3rd in aces in the AAC as that goes out. A kill for Jennings Hall. And something both coaches noted, they didn't recognize the record in practice. They're both playing like teams that want to finish out strong and not at 6-12 and 4-14.
They're for sure keeping the motivation. It can be really difficult knowing that you're not necessarily playing for a conference championship or an NCAA championship or these different things, you know, to keep that morale really high.
I've talked about it ad nauseum with you, Haley, but I think these conferences should have tournaments at the end of the year.
Don't even get me started. The ACC, so the ACC that I played in, we didn't have a conference tournament, and as a team that wasn't making it to the NCAA tournament, it was kind of a bummer towards the end of the year, you know, especially you're missing Thanksgiving with your family, and you know for a fact you're not going to be even able to compete to dance.
Yeah, both these teams have one more match to go on Saturday, so plenty to play for. That shot was called out.
Another look. Yeah, I got to watch it bounce right off the line judge's shoe. He was getting into it.
Douglas Fagan with those squeaky white sneakers. Alderetti, trouble with the serve. And she takes over.
What an out-of-system set. Let's take a look at that. Out-of-system set from Beckham. And no block. You really rarely see that at the Division I level, even on an out-of-system play. If you're Temple, you really need to at least throw some hands up there to do something. You got to create some sort of barrier.
And Alderetti's third in the conference in points per set. She can score with the best of them. Good save by Beckham, a former setter, now at the libero position here this season. Nicely in system. There's Kayla Spells, the junior middle.
Beautiful swing. I'm a huge fan of establishing the middle early in a match. You can see a free ball pass, kind of a B ball, kind of right on the outside hand of the middle blocker. So just a really beautifully run play.
Spells had 10 kills when these teams met. Maybe their best performances were against each other, as that serve not so great for Peyton Boyd.
It happens to the best of us every now and then. She is 6'4", so I always say, I would always joke with my tall teammates, I'm like, I don't have sympathy when you miss your serve because you just got to hit it straight. I'm 5'5". I got to work for it to get over.
Did you have a jump float or did you do the full jump serve?
I was a jump float, which is predominantly what you see at this level because it is kind of a more difficult serve to pass. I didn't see anybody warming up any top spins or any starters warming up any top spins.
Ooh, what a save by Askew. Both teams playing great defense in this first set. Marinelli down line, scooped out. And the kill down line for Yelena Prolish, the product of Coastal Carolina.
Fantastic play. And what I really love, let's take another look here. The tempo of that set really allowed it to be a one-on-one situation. So one hitter, one blocker, and really the hitter should win 9 times out of 10 when that's the scenario. Oh.
Double touch. Oh, okay, a back row touch.
Back row attack.
So you have to stay under the height of the net, correct?
Yes, if you're in front of the 10-foot line, which he's saying, you know, she's the floor captain, so he's saying you were above it, but she is 6 feet tall. So I would say that had a little bit of a downward trajectory. It's tough. Sometimes when you're a little bit shorter, you can get away with it.
Wow, that was blasted to Peyton Boyd. Good dig. Marinelli off head, off noggin, and a point for the true freshman, her second kill.
Fantastic play. And on Temple's side, that's why you don't reach. You always say to your blockers, you know, when you go up, just go up true and then let your back defenders play it, because when you turn around and reach and kind of do that pokey stuff, it really offsets your defense.
And if you do the hokey pokey and turn yourself around, you lose the point. They didn't teach that in elementary school. That's an overpass. Can Askew capitalize?
What a dig.
Boyd has been really active at the net today, front row and back row. Nice win for Spells of the net. She let that fall right down and knocks it in for the point.
Yeah, not much ECU can do about that. Let's take another look. Kind of an overset, a trap set, if you will. It's just not even worth going up.
Here's Linda Hampton-Keith. She was the former head coach at NC State, former Louisville assistant, and just joined the staff in June, so a quick turnaround for her roster. I love the sound of a hooting owl from her bench. Those aren't sound effects as that serve goes wide.
Those service errors are starting to add up a little bit. We're still early in the match, but you definitely want to get those under control.
So Peyton Evanstad in to serve. She's only a sophomore, which I know with COVID gets complicated, but to have a possible 3-year starter coming back, that's nice. Ooh. And a block for the Pirates.
I love, ECU seems really prepared for this match. So Davenport being a true middle, it looks like when they run her sets on the outside, they're not just throwing up a high ball for her to go and get and chase like, you know, you traditionally would for an outside hitter. They're pushing her set a little bit faster, if you'll see, like that. Wow. And as you can see, it's very difficult to block. So again, East Carolina needs to do what they were doing that previous play and kind of cheat over a little bit. Let's take a look.
Wow, no block. Hall was a bit late.
Yeah.
And Coach Adler Augustin said Davenport gave us a ton of trouble when they met in October. Hit 280 in that match.
Yep.
Ooh, just out on the serve.
Is that number 3?
3 service errors.
That's starting to get up there, especially when it's 8-7.
And you see Temple targeting Marinelli, trying to take her out of the hitting rotation.
Which is obviously really smart, right? You have a freshman player. You are going to want to make her play every ball possible. Wear her down, get her out of rhythm.
That's kept up. Nice save by Hall at the net.
That's a double.
But a double touch for naught. That's got to be frustrating as a teammate, right? You go all out, you extend into the net and save it.
I know. I feel like he called it a little early. I mean, I did for sure. But, you know, truthfully, just because it's ugly doesn't mean that it's illegal. You know, you can do an athletic double touch theoretically if you're not the setter is kind of the rule. But he did not have any mercy. Wow.
As the novice volleyball player of the two of us, I'd appreciate that. Ugly touches are still good ones if they work. That's freed over by the Pirates. That block goes out, so a point.
Ooh.
Oh, wait, yeah, it is out.
We got involved.
It is a point for Temple.
Let's take a look at that play.
Let's take a look at this athleticism here. Wait
yeah,
for it.
right off that outside forearm.
So our camera op, Micah, is working that cam today. He said, I'm not going to follow Evan. I'm going to follow the sport. I'm well trained. Well, watch out.
Good run.
Appreciate all the crew this year. A lot of athletic events here in Greenville.
A lot of stuff to be excited about. Especially Davenport's serve. Her serve is wicked.
She is a true outside hitter serve. It comes full speed at you. That's a full attack at the net as it goes into the net. You ready for Selection Sunday tomorrow night?
I'm excited.
All 32 bids up for grabs. Number 1 Texas. They might be able to win the whole thing this year.
I mean, I obviously am always going to cheer for ACC teams. I think it would be a little bit more difficult, but possible.
Can Louisville win the national title?
I would say so. Any given Sunday, right?
With a Final Four in Omaha, Nebraska this year. Great block at the net. There's Samantha Jo Mikowski with the roof.
I love Mikowski does such a good job lining up with the arm of that outside hitter and then funneling in. Just a fantastic play, and she is a freshman, 6'4" freshman, and one thing I noticed is that even though she's a freshman, she's done a really good job still moving pin to pin, and you can see libero is now in for her.
Maryland leads the country in blocks, but that was a great play and a kill in the middle. East Carolina leaning on its veterans. Kiani Cummings, who's graduating with senior day today. She's a 4th-year junior. When do the emotions kick in for senior day? Back in your tenure, when do you remember those moments?
Oh, I don't know. It depends. We did stuff the morning of, like a breakfast together as the team, so everybody was balling then. We had a slideshow that night. During the game, it wasn't really real for me until it was our final timeout. And I was like, wow, this is it.
Alderete, a true freshman, hits into the net. It's interesting, right? Temple comes in on the road, flying in from Philly. Didn't have the best serve and pass of all time, and it's sort of like a hitter in batting practice. Just because it's not great in the practice, it can be really great come game time. It's such a weird mental thing.
I always told myself if I had a bad warm-up, that meant I was going to have a good game.
That is blasted by Alderete. 2 kills for the freshman. She has 14 double-doubles in 28 matches.
Let's take a look. Nice tempoed set. And again, that's really the danger of having a setter front row. So Temple's in rotation 4. That means setters front row. They're only going to have 2 hitters. So setters are not notoriously known for setting the best block possible. And we kind of could see it there.
There's an ace for Alderete. It's been a challenge for Temple. They've run a 6-2 at times. Today in the 5-1. Which really puts pressure on Jelinska to be a good blocking presence.
Absolutely, and it puts a lot of pressure on the offense when she's front row because they can really only run 3 kinds of sets with 2 hitters. You know, a slide, some sort of one, and then this set right here for the outside.
Deep touch, that's in. Smart play by Askew.
We call that cheap where I'm from, but that's a very smart play. Very smart play. We can see the turn.
Back corner pocket.
And really, that's going to be up to Danielson, Temple's libero, to run that down. You a lot of times want your fastest player in middle back, so she kind of just turned and stared.
Leads to a kill for Jelena Prolish out of Serbia. I don't know if she's a World Cup fan or not, but the Serbians will play tomorrow morning. I woke up at 5 a.m. this morning for Croatia soccer. They had a draw.
Stop.
Which to me, I mean, I understand international soccer. Draws are part of the action.
Not.
But when you get up at 5 Eastern, you want goals in a 0-0 draw. My puppy was happy, though. We got a morning walk-in. As there's a kill for Marinelli.
Oh. Fantastic kill by Marielli. Let's take a look. She really reached over the block. I mean, there's not a whole lot you can do about that defensively at the net. I would say, you know, your defenders, they're really sucked in like she's going to bounce it on the 10-foot line. I haven't seen that yet this match. If I were them, I would back up a little bit.
Second swing off the block, and that goes out. Media timeout here in set one. ECU with one of its first leads of the match. And we'll have more from this first set when we come back. Highly competitive first set here in Greenville. When these teams met in Philly, it was a 5-set thriller that the Pirates pulled out. Sort of odd. Temple 7-3 in 5-set matches. When you have a team that's a losing record coming in, to be that good in 5-setters, it's sort of counterintuitive.
They find a way to finish. That's really all there is to it. Wow.
Marinelli continues a hot start. 5 kills on 8 swings.
Temple's going to want to flip their lineup, I think, a little bit coming into this next set so that they have their 6'4" right side lined up with her as opposed to their sophomore setter.
Running that one-setter rotation, leaves them on an island. Already swung, and she got that dug up.
Oh.
Ooh, off the net. Spells tipped it, and a point for ECU.
They just weren't quite sure where it was going to go. You can see Jelinska kind of look.
So when a middle backpedals, that's typically waiting for a tip or a mid shot, but then when she jumps up, it's kind of hard to press forward because then you're pressing into the net.
It was just kind of a broken play. I don't think anybody, and looks like they went ahead and made a substitute and they've switched to a 6-2. I think they've identified the same issues we have.
Nice kill for Spells in the middle. The Cary native just up the road.
We can take a look for Temple. It looks like they just brought in number 9.
By the way, Howling Cows ice cream in Cary, delicious if you ever get a chance.
Oh my goodness.
It's like
I live in
NC
Fuquay,
State
so I
farms.
need to make a little stop by. But it looks like they got Rogalska in the match now. They're running a 6-2, so now they do have 3 options at the net.
Wow, Shea Hall blasts one to the court on her senior day.
ECU is really starting to pop off. That kill right there puts them up to hitting 364 right now in the match. Excuse me, 391. It just updated. to Temple hitting 292, which still isn't a poor performance. However, when you look at the fact that Temple only has 6 digs, ECU has 15, we can kind of see a little bit of a difference in the dig to conversion.
These Temple Owls led by Linda Hampton-Keith, and it's a tough challenge for a team that doesn't have the greatest of records this year. Now, to her credit, working on a Final Four team in Louisville last year with Taylor Eggleston and that excellent program, and now she comes just across the state from NC State to Temple. It's a unique challenge, right, with the different stops you've been at and now trying to rebuild a Temple program.
Exactly. I actually played against her. So I played 2015 to 2018. So I was right there while she was at NC State, and I remember she had brought a lot of her players from Arizona State to NC State, and it was really exciting because it kind of changed the tempo of play at NC State. It was a really great NC State team. So very talented coach, and I think that this is definitely a good fit for her. It's just about getting your players in there, getting people to buy in, and building a culture.
She counters with Adler Augustin, who's the best dressed coach I've seen in the American Athletic Conference.
I know, he looks sharp.
Now, more impressively, it's the sweats-looking dress pants that have the belt buckle loop on there. I mean, look at that.
I wonder if they're Lululemon. I've seen a lot of Lulu pants like that these days.
Adler, though, from a court standpoint, he played at Texas on the club volleyball team as a player and just hired back in 2020. He said he used the summer of COVID to really build his pillars for the program, what he wants to see out of this team. And here they sit now at 6-12 in the conference. They have a chance to have a winning record at home. Hasn't been done in 3 years here in East Carolina.
And you see a 3-point difference right now. I know Temple's got to be hurting over those 3 missed serves this match, or this set alone.
Taking advantage of 4 service errors from the Owls.
4, excuse me.
What a dig by Danielson. And that goes long, a rare miss for Taylor Davenport. She was dominant when these teams met in Philly, hit 300. 9 attacks today, only 1 kill.
I know, you can tell that they definitely did some really great scouting on her because she does run that faster tempo set. So you know that their ECU has prepared themselves to handle it.
Alderetti from the back gets contact, another kill. She has 4. It is hard to stop this freshman tandem of Marinelli and Alderetti.
Let's take another look. A very tricky set. You think it's going to go to the outside, and it kind of is that flung back to the pipe. I love to see that variety.
A quick second timeout called by Temple here. What has ECU done to flip the script? They were trailing 12-9 and now have a chance to win the set.
I think it's really come down to their dig to conversion. They have 17 digs so far just in this set, whereas Temple only has 7. And not only are they getting digs, getting those ups, they're quality digs that they're able to convert into points, and they're able to get their middles involved, their right sides, their outsides. It's just kind of a different look than what we were seeing early in the match, where they, still seemed a little bit unsure of themselves.
5 kills for Marinelli, 4 for Alderetti. Coach Adler Augustin said this week, we've started to play our best volleyball at the end of the year. And I realize it won't lead to NIVC or NCAAs, but that has to say something heading into the spring season coming up in February.
I know the spring is really the time for development. I know we were talking to both coaches really a little bit about the development of these players and what they'll be working on coming into the spring. And, we were talking before the match too, the spring games can be kind of crazy. You might be having a player who's graduated playing libero for you because you have all freshman liberos coming in. It gets kind of crazy in the spring. So it's an important time, but it's definitely not necessarily do or die.
Temple, meanwhile, it battled in a 5-setter against South Florida in its last match. Looking to close out the year with back-to-back wins. Cincinnati and ECU here this week. Evanstad with options, goes to the dump and finds the floor.
East Carolina batting 1,000 with that shot. When you're playing defense, you're really supposed to be pinched in. And you can see Temple kind of cheating back, and you're going to get burned on it, but it's going to make them be honest every time now.
Add an ace to Evanstad's total. That's a good string of points. And there's your first ball into the broadcast booth.
It's always kind of a status thing, I feel like, to ace the libero for a team. It kind of takes the morale down big time. We can see one ace for both of these teams.
And she continues to target the libero.
Oh.
Ooh, just missed the target there at Davenport.
Ooh. Again, I've seen a couple of balls that she almost missed, but you know, she's so tall, she's able to reach. But that set was just two in between. But that setter, you know, that was just in, she hadn't really been in the whole match. We just now seeing a setter substitution.
Yeah, Jelinska comes back in.
Really needs to figure it out. I thought there was a touch on that ball.
That shot long. Linda Hampton-Keith does have 2 challenges, and she won't use it.
I'm surprised. I really thought they touched it.
This is now a 10-1 run, opening up set point.
Temple just really has not found that winning lineup and hasn't found anyone to really run that offense successfully.
Great dig by Beckham. And Marinelli is kept up.
Off the noggin.
Nice save by Temple. One more time, hit long. That's a big point for the Owls.
A rare mistake.
Marinelli was hitting 500 before that swing in set 1.
Yeah, that's her first error. Again, really impressive for a freshman. I can't stress that enough, especially because Temple's made her pass. She's gotten a lot of these out-of-system sets. You know, she's done a really great job staying level-headed.
ECU for the set. Davenport, nice save. Leads to a point. The lefty Boyd drops it in.
Not a lot you can do when somebody who has the 6'4" angle and they want to push it down. Not a lot you're going to be able to do about that.
Peyton Boyd has been really efficient in AAC play, hitting close to 300 in the conference.
Yeah, sitting today at 333.
Here's Alderetti. Hits one out, and 3 straight points for Temple. You know, Rome wasn't built in a day, but you start putting 3 or 4 together and you put pressure on your opponent.
Absolutely. It's so important to get that good momentum, even if they're not able to pull out this set, to get that good momentum heading into that second set.
Jelinska continues to serve. Here's Marinelli for the set.
That's tight.
Ooh, good joust. Now Boyd. No hands. East Carolina wins the first set. The Pirates hit 290 in set 1. Efficient set. They take it. When we come back, set 2 here from Greenville. Temple ends it with a hitting error as we go to the second. East Carolina controls the back end of set one, hitting 290 offensively. Here in this first set, Temple played really well early, but the Pirates took over late.
I think for me, really the story of this match, although we're about to see some amazing kills here, was really the defense. So we'll take a look here. Not a whole lot of digs going on from the Temple side, as you can see. A lot of really impactful swings from the Pirates.
Shea Hall got involved in the middle there. Only one kill for the middles, but the outsides have been so good for ECU. Hit percentage pretty dominant, and then of course the service errors, 4 of them for Temple early, kept ECU in the set.
Definitely kept it at point-by-point volleyball until the end there, but I think, again, really the story is the defense. So I think both teams are having pretty moderately good service-eve, little breakdown at the end for Temple, but prior to that, only having 8 digs in a set as a team versus ECU 19, it kind of makes you look at it through a little bit of a different lens. The defense really needs to pick it up for Temple. They were caught looking a lot with setter dumps, not necessarily executing on the easy balls, and when they did get a crazy dig, they didn't necessarily convert as well as they could have. We saw a couple of missed sets, a couple of missed hits, so we saw a little bit of the variance on who was in the setting position. So I would say if you're Temple, you know, you might even need to make a libero switch. You need somebody who's really going to demand something from that back row.
That's a man who's seen some things in his tenure. When that goatee gets like longer than 6 inches, you know you've lived a long life.
I know he's got his Temple stuff on, it looks like, so must be somebody on the Temple team. Looks like they maybe know they're getting filmed. I don't know, she was kind of pointing.
Yeah, there's a lot of video boards in here. You can check it out and see her on TV. And then someone's like practicing for ring shopping. And
right.
I love it.
All sorts of stuff going on.
Volleyball benches are neat because obviously these girls sub in a ton. You get 15 substitutes per set, but they're always talking and chatting and there's something going on.
Always. It's always a good time. I mean, it's not a good time on the bench, but it is a good time on the bench.
Joined by former Wake Forest player Haley Brooke Weiss, Evan Budrovich. If you're like, wait, I can't find Haley on the internet. Well, it was Haley McFadden back in the day. Izzy Marinelli, who's had a standout freshman year, adds another kill. She has 6.
Little bit of a freshman mistake from Mikowski. You can see she blocked and didn't really know which way to turn. Here we can see Temple is in rotation 1. They're back to running a 5-1. It looks like there's a little bit of an argument on the court with the coaches. A little bit of yelling. It looks like.
Is Linda Hampton-Keith questioning a double touch here or kind of a set possibly?
I thought she was trying to question something with somebody being over in the net based on what her hand gestures were, but it's kind of hard to tell. I didn't think there was anything illegal about that play personally. Okay, nice high out of system set. Touch, and she let it fall. Mikowski didn't see where it went, so I'm really not sure.
It was a bump set too.
Yeah, I don't really see anything that could have been wrong about that.
We'll file that in the maybe for later category as the point's given right back on a service error.
Maybe it's that side. Saw Temple have a lot of errors early in that first set.
One thing Linda Hampton-Keith did say for Temple, her team still enjoys being around each other. And Haley, no offense, you've been on some teams that have lost some games. To still have that camaraderie late in the year, that says something.
It's really important. It definitely says something to, wow, what an ace. But it definitely says something to kind of your mentality and your freshness as a team, because it's hard to lose. It's hard as the season, you know, you go from August, you had preseason, it just kind of goes on and on and on when you're losing. So to keep that morale high and not be blaming one another, it's really impressive.
As that serve goes long, these teams are fighting for finishing out the year strong, let's say, because they're not going to catch Houston and UCF, who play Saturday in a championship match. That'll be really fun. ECU could climb as high as 6th if things work out right, and Temple can avoid dropping to the final 2 in the league. So there's still plenty to play for. Man, can you fly me down to Orlando? Houston, UCF, top 25 on Friday.
I'll commentate those games.
Yeah, if we could jump on a charter plane, that'd be great.
I'm available, whoever needs to hear that.
we've seen a better start from Temple here in set 2. And now Falanika Danielson, the libero, back to serve.
Out of Hawaii, that must be fun.
2-time state champion at Iwa Beach, Hawaii. And that kill goes long. Jennings Hall missed it wide.
I like that it seems like ECU is trying to mix up the offense a little bit, though. I feel like they kind of know that they can get the jump. So Evanstad is kind of mixing up what we're able to see offensively, keeping Temple on their toes.
This is a long set for Evanstad. And that shot is deep.
And again, it all starts with a dig, kind of an easy ball to Danielson, and she digs it, 25 feet off the net into area 5, making it a track meet for her setter a little bit, and then everybody knows where they're gonna set it. Makes the offense really one-dimensional. That first touch has got to improve for Temple.
How vital has serve-receive been today? There's a kill for Peyton Boyd. Both teams struggling to play in system.
Definitely a lot of struggles in system, so I feel like it's kind of balanced out, which is why I think it's become such a dig to convert game. A nice substitution. I think Temple identified, the missed serves. They want to get a little passer in there to improve on that back line. It looks like they have all 3 littles back there.
Little's fun way to put it. That is in for Alderete. 5 kills. She's only hitting 0%, so it hasn't been the greatest day, but she's working through it.
I know sometimes the stat sheet can be deceiving. Let's take a look at that swing. Really, again, I'm seeing a systematic breakdown with Temple. Their middle back, their libero Danielson, is creeping up. And as a middle back, you're going to want to stay as deep as possible because it's really hard to see around the block.
Wow.
Wow.
That dig goes over. Now bump set here for Beckham.
That's a great dig.
Jelinska goes outside, and that's kept up. Nice touch by Singleton. Off the net. Claimed a tip, so point continues. Leads to a block. Now in system. That is shot high and wide. I think Keani Cummings just got underneath that touch.
I love seeing these longer rallies come to play, and you can see number 7, McBride, come in, a freshman libero DS from Stafford, Virginia. I think she brought really great energy, and she was a huge part of extending that rally. I think it was a really smart play by Temple to get some more defensive specialists in there. They're struggling to get that first dig. So I think that was a really great call.
Here's Jelena Prolish out of Serbia to serve. She's been really good at the service line. Top 10 in aces in the AAC. Good effort, but a point for the Pirates.
We just saw a big swing out of her, and now we're seeing that kind of flippy, she's doing the same approach, but she has a faster wrist and a slower arm, so it kind of makes for a nice roll shot. Again, making it so Temple can't get into that nice rhythm they want to get into.
Boy, that was blasted long, and ooh, a touch of the net.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think I saw potentially, they called a touch, but I saw someone in the net as well. It was a mess up there.
Our R2 claiming Keani Cummings touched the net. Douglas Fagan working the far side. Let's see.
Take a look.
Okay.
No.
Those fingernails will catch you.
Just the fingernails. Another dig from McBride.
Jelinska goes middle and finds her target. Great kill for Mikowski.
Again, I really think Temple putting the effort in to have a little extra defense is showing in the fact that they're able to involve their middles a little bit more. Mikowski, I mean, she's hitting 1,000. 3 kills on 3 attempts.
And then Marinelli soars into the air for a kill. She jumps around like a kid on the basketball court. It's just hopping around to make things happen.
Absolutely. She has a very graceful approach. It's kind of, you're supposed to go slow to fast when you do your approach. Her approach is pretty slow, but it's very deceiving because she still hits it really tough, right? She still hits it really hard. It's not a slow swing, but definitely would throw me off as a defender. She's very graceful.
It's like when you're ice skating through a ice skating rink at Christmas time.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Just need that tandem partner. Have Will Ferrell lift you up in the air. Boy, that was smacked to the floor. Shea Hall.
Around the block. Great pass. Great set. Very textbook A-ball. See a lot of subs coming in here for East Carolina.
It has not been a big match feeding the middles for ECU today. Only 3 kills.
Ooh.
Great in-system swing. 2 kills in the set for Mikowski.
Beckham did not look prepared for that, but think about it geometrically. When the middle is hitting to left or right back, that's the shortest point, so you really don't have a lot of reaction time.
All you can do is put your arms up and hope to deflect it, basically.
You just pray.
You've been in those moments.
Ooh, that's going to be tight.
Oh, and Mikowski missed it. Teed it up.
That's what we call a freshman error.
Little eager beaver cost her, and a point for ECU.
And I hate points like that for teams, not only because, okay, you know, that happened, but, you know, and you lost the point, but it's also like kind of a morale, you know, killer. You feel very depleted after that, honestly.
Final week of the regular season. You need every ounce of motivation you can get. Alderete, whoa, called long.
Close.
And Adler Augustin says, I think I'm going to use a challenge card here.
Oh, we might see a little something.
Yep, there's the green card.
Let's take a look and see. That seems to be the second timeout from ECU. Or I guess not timeout, but second pause of the game for them.
Let's see, in or out?
That was a pretty shot.
Ooh, I'd say in.
From this angle, I'd say in, but to be fair, I feel like everything looks in from that angle. Let's see. Right through the block, textbook.
Ooh, good screen there by Jelinska.
I know. We're getting surround sound here. Let's see. That looks like it's gonna be, ooh.
Okay, the more I watch it, the less I'm convinced.
I know, it's so close. It looks so in until the end. It's like it didn't quite have enough topspin. But that was such a pretty shot. She has such a nice wrist flip. Wow, they call it in. That's point Carolina, and that means they actually get to keep their challenge. And that's kind of a recent development. When I was in college, I think they came out with the green card my junior year. And if you use your challenge, win, lose, or draw, your challenge was gone. So it's kind of nice now that that's not necessarily the case, and we can see a little bit of argument over here on Temple's bench.
So you win the challenge, you keep it. You get 2 to start every match. And if it goes to a 5th set, you now get an extra challenge.
Yes. It was
and
not
Linda
like
Hampton
that for us.
Keith goes, well, okay.
She said, all right, you got to move on. I love that she just, you know, fights for her team but knows when to move it along.
Boy,
Wow.
blast one from the right side. And this is something Temple can capitalize on. Good right side hitting.
Yeah, fantastic serve receive from Danielson. Really leading up to that point. That was beautiful. But a 6'4" left-handed right side, I mean, that's kind of the, you know.
That's how you draw it
that's
up
what you want.
in a lab.
Yeah, exactly.
Temple finished 7 and 24 last year, but with players like Boyd coming back, there could be a bright future here in Philly.
Wowza.
Alderete wants a tip. She does not get it.
I thought that one should potentially be challenged too. This line judge over here on the right did call a touch.
And the head ref
but it's
says
not
no.
his call.
And the challenge card is back.
Here we go again. This is familiar.
Adler said, I'm going to order some Chick-fil-A with all these cards I'm putting in.
I know.
And he's like, I have to use a challenge at this point, and I shouldn't have to. And
hey, but they're a little bit down. It acts as a nice timeout. Stop the momentum. Let's take a peek.
we might have to slow this down just a smidge. Wow, good look.
Again, same kind of shot right between the block.
Did she split the difference, though?
Let's see. I think it's definitely out, but I'm not sure if there was a touch. Looks like it was kind of a field goal right between the arms. Let's see.
Oh.
Ooh.
Now, if it touches her hair, that doesn't count. It has to touch part of her body.
Yes.
The hair is an exception in college volleyball.
Which I love. I don't want to be penalized for long hair.
Long hair don't care, baby.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay, let's see.
I think it's a field goal. I think it went right between.
So unlike the Buffalo Bills in the 90s, who couldn't make field goals in the Super Bowl, I think she just split the uprights, and I think there's no touch.
That's what I'm saying. But it's also like if you're blocking, you're normally not blocking with your arms quite that far apart all the time.
And nor do you see any change in direction.
Yeah.
Ball looked pretty straight coming out.
That's true. I feel like there would have been a change of direction because she put some heat on it.
Let's see.
Let's see.
Okay, Douglas Fagan, the call is upheld.
1 for 1, though, on your challenges. Not bad. Got you a little break.
So ECU has 1 challenge remaining until a 5th set if possible. Yeah, at least from our angle, I don't see how you change that call. So here we go, 3-point difference early in set 2. Remember, Temple led for most of the first set. Same difference, 12-9, and ECU took over.
What a dig.
There's Evanstad. Alderetti takes advantage. She's up to 9 kills.
Alderetti is really picking apart that middle back because she's done just such a great job getting it through the block. I mean, we've seen her go over the block. We've seen her go in between the block, on the outside arm of the block, but all kind of going to that seam between right back and middle back, which is what we would call in volleyball the area 1 and 6 seam.
You mentioned the dig to kill percentage. What does that mean to the average volleyball fan?
So dig to kill would be what we're about to watch right here. You could see Libero got a nice dig, set, kill right off of that dig. So that's, again, what I really think was missing for Temple in that first set was they really weren't able to get enough digs and convert off of them.
You play in system, right? 3 touches and a kill. Texas leads the country in hit percentage, playing a little more like that today.
Wow.
Boy, that was in system. Great swing down line for Prolish.
We're going to be seeing a lot of point-for-point volleyball, and both of these teams have been using a lot of subs. So I wouldn't be surprised if it stays like this once we get into that, 22-22 area, if they're going to have to maybe hold it on the subs a little bit. So we might see some weird lineups near the end of this set.
As a reminder, 15 subs per set.
Yep.
You get 2 timeouts, race to 25, win by 2.
But some rotations, they're using 3 subs at a time. Some, depending.
Alderetti hits one to the back row. Here's
Ooh,
Prolish.
a set from the middle.
Evanstad,
That might be
high
a double.
set, and that sat in the pocket.
She jumped. She went for a jump set, and she jumped a little too early. So when she pushed it out of her hands, it kind of had that roll backspin, and up refs do not like that.
It's a play you can get away with in beach volleyball, but not on the indoor side. That's the next sport I think is going to thrive in college athletics, beach volleyball. And there's a kill in the middle for Carlia Northcross.
What's fun about sand volleyball is you might see a lot of these players go play sand. You get 2 years of eligibility outside of indoor. Wow, look at that. Again, that's a really tough play from the middle, hitting those pins. Geometrically, it's not a lot of reaction time.
Programs like UNCW, UAB have added it recently, at least in this general area.
I was committed to Texas A&M Corpus Christi for Graduate Beach.
I did not know that.
I was, yep. Woo!
Wow.
That's a swing.
Alderetti doesn't need the beach. She's pretty good indoors.
No, I'd hate to see her on the sand in a good way.
10th kill for the true freshman.
She is going to be she's lethal now, but she's going to continue to be lethal. And again, you can see setter for Temple not going up to block. You just got to throw your hands up there because you're giving a one-on-one situation. And, Alderetti might be a freshman, but she's still an experienced outside hitter. She's going to eat that up.
20th match this year in double-figure kills. You already see it, hitting 238 in the second set. Oh, tip shot, saved by Askew. Now in system to Alderete. Down line for the point. What can't this freshman do?
Yeah, if I'm Temple, it's paining me to watch it. If I'm Temple, I'm moving Danielson. You can see her kind of talking to the coach right now. I'm moving her into that seam because the block isn't cutting it up there. You have, Patty Jelinska not really doing a whole lot at the net. We might see Temple flip back into that 6-2 just to get some hands on that.
A kill for Kayla Spells sends us to our media timeout. Temple up 1. And take away that mid shot instead.
Like, if I'm Temple, I would just put
So our score out of the timeout is mirroring what we saw in the first set, 15-14, and then ECU pulled it out strong in set 1. Curious who can inch out set 2. These teams met in Philly back in early October, a 5-set back-and-forth matchup that the Pirates won in 5. Haley, you've noted the importance of play for the 2 setters here for Temple. They'll be important down the stretch.
Yeah, we were just talking about kind of their defensive scheme for Temple. I think to really have anything for Alderete is going to need to change a little bit to kind of a, maybe a little bit more of a rotational type of deal.
And Northcross sets up 1-on-1. That's a good matchup for the middle.
We're looking at a lot of point-for-point volleyball.
Because now you're catching Jelinska where she's cheating over on Alderete, and it leaves the middle 1-on-1.
Exactly.
And if you double the middle, it leaves the outside 1-on-1.
Exactly, which again is why you like to establish the middle early in the match, right? So that the blockers do have that little bit of confusion.
The net kind to Alderete, an ace to add to her total.
And unlike pickleball or tennis, that's not a point or a replay or anything like that.
I'm glad you're a pickleball fan. That just
actually,
made my day.
Pickleball in 2021, they changed the rules so you can actually have a let, just like volleyball.
Jelinska with a long push set, and it works out perfectly. So a kill for Taylor Davenport. We haven't said her name as much today.
I know, she's been very neutralized because of the, capabilities of the ECU offense to really just put it down and not really give her much opportunity. We've seen her a little bit out of serve receive, being able to get the ball, but not as much in that dig to kill scenario. Wow!
Nice save by Spells, leading to a kill. Temple, the big rally point.
That might be dig of the night. That was incredible. What a stretch. A one-handed dig, and then through a double block. And then she almost aced the libero.
Wow. Prolish keeps it up. And Davenport blasts one long. You mentioned this point-for-point volleyball. It makes you wonder who and how do you pull out this set?
It's really about extended periods of good. You really just have to remain consistent, play your game, and don't start cheating. You know, we saw Temple cheat a little bit on defense at the end of the last set, and, you know, set or dump down, a tip falls. These little things happen that make a big difference.
Marinelli with the save. Now she gets a swing at it. Tight angle and goes into the net.
I liked her idea, though, that 4-to-4 cross shot. That's really tough to defend.
The bump set, too, by Northcross put her basically inside the antenna. That's a hard angle.
Temple's back in rotation 1, and I think this is the strongest rotation, or one of the strongest rotations for Temple. Looking at the size of that front row.
Whoa.
Whew.
That was just passed over, but out. And that's where serve receive costs ECU.
But really, an outside hitter shouldn't be setting anyway. I think that's a good time to call timeout. Get everybody to calm down after kind of a freaky, you know, freak out mistake.
Getting late here in set 2. And the Temple Owls, they would love to finish out the road season strong. It's kind of interesting, a team that's 5-5 on the road, but 2-10 at home. Especially in AAC play, they've been really good on the road this year, wanting a 3rd straight road win. As you see, their first winning season in 5 years. Those are always hard ones to explain, right? Teams that do so well in another person's gym, but struggle in their own.
I know. I mean, I would be interested. I haven't been to Temple's actual arena. I would be curious to see, you know, the atmosphere and kind of check out some of these other factors that might be impacting it that maybe we wouldn't necessarily get on camera.
Do have a win improvement. 3 wins last year in conference, now 4 with a couple to go. And then the Pirates, they're looking for their best season in league play in 3 years. They can get to 8 wins coming up this week.
Well on their way.
That blocks per set was something Adler Augustine was very proud of. He said, we've been very good at tipping shots, making hitters slow down, limit hit percentage. That's winning volleyball.
Yeah, that's really all you can ask for. And again, now Temple coming on. This front line really is a wall. Your blockers here are 6'4", 6'4", 6'1". So I would imagine, speaking of blocking, hopefully we're going to see a little bit more of that.
Jelinska continues to serve, the Polish product. Targets Alderete. Ooh, header.
Wow.
Kept up, smart play by Mikowski. Davenport into the block.
What a rally by both teams, so scrappy. Let's take a look. Really nicely set block there.
That's Kellen Trouse with the root. One of the 3
she
seniors for the Pirates.
Did such a good job funneling it. It's really the job of that pin blocker to just set the block, not necessarily always be the one to get the block. But she had no problem getting it.
Great job sneaking that through the block, Peyton Boyd. And Temple's doubled its hit percentage in set 2.
Definitely seeing some improvement there.
Out to 286 in this set alone. Finished set 1 hitting 120. Boy, the service errors may come back to bite Temple tonight. 6 of them.
Oh, I know. And really, typically, you want no more than 2 per set. Or, you know, if you're balancing at least a 1-to-1 ratio, that would make a little bit more sense. Unfortunately, Temple right now, it looks like in the match they only have 2 service aces. So really 4 of those theoretically are unwarranted at this point.
Returnable for Jelinska. And Boyd into the block. Good hands at the net. Singleton shoots it wide, and Temple 4 points from the set.
Great serve receive and great out-of-system coverage and passing from Danielson, who's going back to serve now for Temple. I think a lot of what it is for Temple, too, comes down to her ability to command that backcourt, because I feel like there just hasn't been a lot of adjustments made, and, you know, it's inconsistent with who's setting, when they're setting, what kind of system. But what's always consistent is that libero.
Great save by Alderete on the overpass.
Wow.
Ooh. Now Boyd off the double and in for a roof.
What a play. And again, right here, another tough rotation for ECU. For Temple, it's a great rotation, but it's going to be a tough rotation to fight against.
Timeout, Temple. These are two teams that may not be sitting at the top of the league, but you couldn't tell me otherwise by how they're playing today.
No, exactly. We've seen some amazing plays from both teams, some really great pushes on offense and defense.
There's the big matchup on Friday. UCF, Houston, you win, and you win the conference tournament. A loss, you might get in as an at-large. You might host as an at-large if the RPI works out. You see Angela Zaldiretti, another all-freshman honor, all-conference honor for the week. And, yeah, it's tough. I mean, you look at UCF and Houston, if one of those gets a little RPI bump, they might be able to host multiple rounds as a top 16 club. That'd be huge for the American Conference.
Definitely trailblazing for this conference and very, very exciting. And it's just going to continue to improve the level of play in the conference as a whole.
Because here's the standings, right? Houston's dominated all year. UCF's one loss is to Houston. And whoever wins that match on Friday, they win the league. So big implications. SMU, they tripped up against Cincinnati, so 4 losses. They are right on the bubble, RPI-wise. I think they said it like 55 RPI, and that's right on the edge of getting in, getting out.
Yeah, it's going to be tough with, you know, the wild card and that large bit. I mean, it's going to be really tight. I would be surprised if they got in. I definitely hope it for them.
And SMU is leading Wichita State in the 4th set.
So. Oh, wow. That'll definitely help. Any of those last-minute RPI moves.
That block was a bit behind the net, so point for Temple. That's a young front line for ECU right now with Krushko in, the sophomore. And Carlia Northcross, the freshman up front.
And now we have our 3 defensive specialists in the back for Temple. This is such a strong rotation.
Is that because you were a back row libero yourself? Is that
of course. I loved when I was in the back row with 2 other defenders. It's like you might not have any offense back there if it's a broken play, but you really haven't seen a ton of that anyway this match. And one person that I think has kind of been doing a fantastic job very quietly would really be number 10, Nikki Schimau. She's been really great defensively so far. 3 digs, but at very pivotal points and great serve receive for the Owls.
Both coaches using their timeouts ad nauseum. Second timeout for the Pirates.
Gives us more time to chat with each other.
Well, it definitely tells you how much they value these points late in the set. Think about ECU last set. They rolled to a 10-1 run to finish out the set, and Temple is trying to avoid that and even up this match. Today is senior day, and we'll get to your headshot and your history here, Haley, later. But
oh no,
these 3 seniors, all grad transfers, finishing out their last campaign. It's a short tenure, clearly, but impactful one for this program.
Exactly, and especially because of the transfer portal. I'm sure we're going to see more of this, and it's, you know, it's exciting because volleyball is one of those sports where these players can come in for a season and be really impactful and plug in really quickly, even though it is a team sport. It's not like it takes necessarily years for them to integrate, but it's exciting to see what their careers have looked like.
4 combined semesters from these 3 players. That's a quick tenure.
That is a quick tenure. All very impactful.
And then Kellen Trouse, she's starting her medical school program.
Oh, wow.
So first of many years for her here in Greenville.
Will she be staying at ECU for that? That's awesome. I've heard they've had a fantastic medical program. I would not know. I did business. I wanted to stay as far away from that as possible.
Yeah, that's one side of campus, and we're on the other side.
Yes.
Here in communications and business.
Wow.
Alderetti, a roll shot, scooped out, and East Carolina back within 1.
I love that from Kenzie Beckham. Doing a great job covering, and then we see that final shot and just out. Again, that's why if I was Temple, I would really go into that rotational defense where you shift over your middle back to the right a little bit, and then you pull up your right back for those tips. You know, playing coach, armchair quarterback, because we can see those areas really get picked apart.
Davenport hits it off the block, and it's kept in.
What a great out-of-system set.
Krusko knocks it up. Tight set. Nice save. Free ball joust. There's a bump set to Davenport.
Wow.
Already good defensively. Marinelli fights it in, but behind the antenna. Point Temple.
She did her best. She got a lot of those, what I call them, trash sets. You know, it's an out-of-system play. The outside's the only person you can set. So she gets thrown up, kind of those trash balls. You know, and she just couldn't do it with that one. But that's one thing I think East Carolina has really executed today, is being able to put some sort of swing on those quote-unquote trash sets that a lot of people might just set over or pass over or even make an error on. So that's one of the few errors I've seen her make on one of those.
Can Temple close out set 2? Here's Magdalena Rogalska in to serve. Evanstad in system. Marinelli's dug.
What a touch.
Point East Carolina.
And I'm trying to figure out here at the end of this match, it looks like you see the sub. They have 2 setters on the court right now for Temple. You can see them both hustling for that ball, but it looks like
one just got subbed out.
One just got subbed out for the 1 point, so I'm trying to kind of figure out what we're looking at here in terms of strategy.
Temple to win set 2.
What a pass.
Davenport hits it wide.
That might be a challenge. It looks like Temple's wanting a touch. I thought that was a fantastic serve-receive pass, a great tempoed set, all the way
Keith
to a fantastic swing. You can see.
Carlia Northcross says, can I serve it,
I know.
Put it in play?
Our coach always told us that. He always said, you know, you keep the ball until they make you give it to the other team.
So they'll take the challenge. That's a smart challenge by Temple, by the way.
Definitely. If nothing else, it's a great timeout, and we know these coaches love their timeouts.
Big decision here for Douglas Fagan.
Okay. Let's take a look.
Ooh.
That looks out, but I didn't see the touch. Let's see. Ooh.
No touch in the back row either.
I didn't think so. She wanted it for a second, didn't she?
And the coach, Adler Augustine's like, yep, that's out. He was sliding on the ground calling
Let's see.
Not there. I don't think
I
there.
don't think so. I'd have to see a line cam on that one.
Okay, watch the ECU bench. This is great. Their reaction here.
I love it.
I don't think so.
They've got some good passion. I think it was a swing and a miss.
Oh, and there's Adler. He's jumping up, saying out.
Let's see. They're reviewing, though, and they're taking their sweet time.
Okay, Doug, what do you got for us?
Could really go either way. Because they also have slightly different angles than necessarily what we're looking at, so they might have additional information.
The call stands. Okay, so bonus points here in set 2.
And Northcross, she has a bullet of a serve, if you recall. And the only kind of downside of having her in right now is the fact that she is a middle blocker and there's no libero on the court right now, which can cause a little bit of chaos. So it's really anyone's game.
Davenport dug up by Northcross. Now Marinelli. Great save.
What a dig.
Davenport off the block and in. ECU set point.
Temple really stepping up on their defense, really exciting to see. But now it kind of seems to be the offense and that coverage. ECU is bringing the heat. They only had 1 block in that first set, and now it feels like they're getting lots of great touches.
Set point. Jelinska tight to the net. Davenport offhand.
That'll play. I'm not really sure why Carolina didn't go up. East Carolina didn't go up to block.
Well, it was like a 90-degree punch, less of a swing.
It was funky. But they always say either you block or you play defense. You can't do neither. So even if you pick the wrong one, you just got to pick one.
Jelinska on the float serve. Marinelli. Nice save by Danielson. Davenport off the block. Set point, Temple.
You live by those touches and you die by those touches. It seems like, at least in this set. Let's take a look. Great set block.
Wow, it split the difference there of Shea Hall.
That's tough.
The double
She's getting
doink.
up there. I know, we've had a lot of headshots today.
Set point service.
Out of system.
ECU will free it over. Temple for the set. Okay, bump set here, Beckham. Already a missile.
It's still in play.
Nice save. Point East Carolina.
This is nail-biting volleyball.
Nearly hit the speakers, nearly hit the chairs.
And I actually don't know the ruling here with hitting the ceiling. I mean, the ceiling is so high, I'm not one to guess.
I believe it's still in play as long as it stays on your side of the net.
As long as it's on your side? Because some places call it out.
Davenport, the soft touch, scooped out.
No double call.
Temple and system. Boyd off the block.
It's
wow.
still live. Oh, they're calling for. Yep.
So a double touch on Hall there?
Yeah, it kind of hit off her head and shoulder. I'm not really sure
So Temple
what the deal was with that.
with the set point. Remember, it went 5 when these teams met in October. A big swing point here in set 2. Deep
what a serve.
Beckham frees it.
This
Options
could
for
be it.
Jelinska. East Carolina stays alive. Illegal touch.
So they're going to talk about it a little bit. But because that free ball pass was too tight to the net, as a setter, if you go up and touch that ball as the other team is touching and you're above that plane of that net, even though you're back row, it's going to be considered a back row attack. So that's just not really a mistake you can make at the Division I level, especially in a match like this. I see coaches arguing about it, but it's, you know, you got to control. You don't get a lot of free balls. When you get them, you got to control those free balls.
That serve and pass, so important this late in the set.
Especially what I love about the free balls too is a lot of times you can run your trick plays and your funky plays and, you know, get the middle involved. So it's especially important to make sure that you're executing.
Bonus volleyball at its finest. Add the Augustine Poland is Matthew McConaughey pounding his chest before the serve. Boyd is blocked. Good hands by the Pirates.
That's a big block. That should be their 5th block of this match. Take a look at that.
Wow, Shea Hall.
Against the 6'4" Boyd.
Set point. Nice save, Marinelli. Already terminates set 2. Temple had multiple set points. That's the freshman putting it away.
That was a fantastic finish by East Carolina. There's going to be a lot of pressure on this final set that we're heading into.
Traditions, and then we'll come back on camera and make fun of each other for our Thanksgiving traditions. Competitive second set here in Greenville. ECU fights off 3 set points to take the second set. And this is Thanksgiving week, so we have important things to talk about. We'll get to the highlights and all that stuff later. But Thanksgiving traditions, super important. We asked the whole crew, what's your favorite tradition? Now, I grew up in Los Angeles, so it was 75 every Thanksgiving, so I got to serve.
Yeah, I wish I would have known yours before I told them mine. Mine looks stupid.
Some of our crew producer, Kyle, likes taking a nap. That's kind of a common one. And then frying a turkey. Watson, great call. You know, for me, and Catherine brings up a good point, the turkey parades in the morning in New York, the Macy's parade, you know, you play the music, you have all the fun. The one I haven't seen yet, okay, there is a turkey bowl there. Hayden, I was going to say, someone's got to play football on Thanksgiving.
I love it. A lot of good things going on here.
Okay, do we have time for our favorite food, too?
I want to know what was your favorite?
So I'm a big fan of apple pie. And I asked the crew, how do you spell a la mode earlier? And all of us were pulling up our phones, checking, okay, how do you spell it?
You just got to ask Siri. I'm a big Siri texter.
So you've been through these senior days.
Yes.
If you're Temple, set 3, seniors finishing out their career, same for ECU, what emotions go through your mind in this moment?
It's kind of scary. The last game of my career, we lost in 3 sets. So we were kind of more so in the shoes that Temple might be looking at. And I remember just thinking about, I just really want to play well. I want to play my hardest. I want to be a really good teammate and have that be my legacy. So if I'm Temple, that's really what's going to be going through my mind.
We'll highlight some players from the first set. And Angela Zaldiretti was excellent. Double-figure kill. She continues to take over.
Yeah, it seems like she knows what she's doing, right? She really has done a great job ripping apart that seam between 5 and 6 or the seam between 1 and 6. Front row, back row, they're giving her the ball, and she's going to find a way to find the floor.
In fact, 15 kills, and we're only in set 3. That's a great start for the true freshman.
Not bad indeed. I love watching her swing. She has such a fast arm. You can see her go up. Such a nice fast finish. It makes it really hard to block her.
So our replay off today, his name's Jay. He's a Lions fan, so he watches a lot of points being scored. So he loaded up that melt with a ton of kills, 15 of them.
He knows the drill.
McKenna Melville leads the AAC. She averages 6 kills a set, just to give you a perspective of how well Angeles is playing today.
Really fantastic. And again, even though she's kind of had the brunt of the kills, I like that the offense is still pretty spread. When you look at the number of kills, you have her first, right, 15, but then you have Marinelli at 8, you have Hall at 2, another Hall at 2, and then 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. So there is still a little bit of a spread offense.
It's like those prepositions. What can you do to a Hall, around the Hall, through the Hall, above the Hall?
I know. Did we confirm, are they siblings?
They are not.
No way.
Just the same last name, which, you're right.
I guess Hall, that's kind of a common last name. I'm sure they get asked all the time if they're siblings.
There's Shea Hall, who's blocked at the neck. Good hands by Davenport.
Pick
now,
a Hall,
if you're Jennings Hall, you're like, well, that's not me. That's the other Hall who gets the block. But if you get the kill, it's like, well, it's my point. I'm the Hall. You're going to credit the kill.
I'm about to say, I'm sure the statistician is probably over it. I could never be a statistician.
I'm gonna give you some inside scoop here, Haley. When they input stats, there's an ace for Temple. They use numbers, not names, unfortunately.
Still, I don't know. It's easier for me once you kind of know what they look like. I don't know.
Second matchup, ECU Temple went 5 sets back in October. October the 5th in the year of 2022. Whoa, that's down for an ace. Shalinska takes advantage of the mistake.
This is a tough rotation for ECU. If you take a look where our setter's running from, rotation 1, your right side has to run all the way from the other side of the court. So it causes a little bit of congestion on certain on certain serve receive balls.
Jelinska targets Beckham. Nice set.
Great dig.
Whoa, Alderete takes
Wow.
liftoff from the
Out
back
of
row.
nowhere.
Boyd
Oh.
into the net, and a hitting error for Temple.
That's tough. You know, the set's coming from, I mean, pretty much the furthest point on the court, getting shot clear across net. That's going to be really tough. And she kind of hit it on her way down. It was kind of a funky play. Slow start here.
To the larger point, Temple's only hitting 146 in this match, about 50 points below their average. That'll help. Down the pipe, there's Davenport.
They're starting to heat up a little bit to this hot start.
And given the way set 2 ended, this is such a critical start for Temple.
Absolutely. I mean, your momentum is really dictated by how you start any particular set, and that's what's so great about volleyball, is even when you get down in one set, typically there's still another set to be played, right? So you can kind of have that nice clean slate.
Oh my gosh, 16th kill for the true freshman.
Wow. She is electric up there. They really haven't figured out a blocking scheme or a defensive scheme that's really put a stop to her. Very impressive.
Add 5 digs in the equation too for a 6 rotation player. Boyd down line beats Alderete. That's a nice swing.
Fantastic swing. I would not want to be standing in front of that ball.
Peyton Boyd gave ECU a ton of trouble when these clubs met in October. Hit 480 from that right side.
Been a little quieter today. Hitting 105, 6 kills, 4 errors, 19 attempts.
Ooh, nice
Wow.
serve.
Way to be scrappy.
Somehow that snuck over. Blocked at the net.
Wow, what a great read on that block. It would have been so easy to go up with the middle, but instead, you know, staying really disciplined and then getting that swing block out to the outside. Look at that.
There's Krushko, one-on-one.
Because remember, if you jump with the middle, you're down. That's it. It's going to be really hard to get back up for that outside hitter. So that was just a great job being disciplined. And again, you can see here 6 blocks for ECU and only 2 for Temple.
ECU averages 15 blocks a match. It's been their strength, and a dump set kill for Temple. And that's how you beat a good block. You change up speeds, change up locations.
Got to keep them guessing.
By the way, the 4-colored pen from the assistant coach, Jose Lugo, big fan.
Oh my goodness.
I'm sitting with the same one. Those Bic pens, smart stuff. Your pen's pink, just to people who are curious.
I know, I have a pink pen, but it writes black.
And it matches your outfit. There's
Yeah.
a kill and an ace for Temple.
Temple's getting there on, you know, breaking a little more even with their errors and aces.
Temple will stay in the North Carolina area tomorrow. Coach Linda Hampton-Keith has family in Raleigh, so they'll have a holiday dinner tomorrow and then head up to Cincinnati to close out the year.
Wow.
Ooh, a joust.
That,
I believe 4 touches. Okay, no, a double touch.
and so he might actually argue about this because if it's one motion, you're allowed to double the first ball. But I think those were 2 separate motions. Personally, it looks like he was kind of talking about it a little bit. Sometimes you can get lucky, though.
Better to be lucky than good in college volleyball.
That's the truth.
Who's the lucky team to win it all in Omaha in a couple weeks? That's the question. As Alderete continues her hot start, 17 kills.
I wish I was there.
Is Wisconsin the team to beat? Can they run it back this year?
They've had a lot of drama on their team this year, so that would be something I think that would really help wash that away.
Wisconsin's hit the transfer portal crazy. Gets 3 all-conference players from different leagues.
Yes.
Brings them in. Ohio State's been really good in the Big Ten this year. They're playing tomorrow night. That'll be awesome.
Out-of-system play here. East Carolina just hoping to keep it alive.
In-system kill for Temple. These clubs are chasing UCF and Houston, who play for a conference title on Friday night.
And I gotta say, I do love, when it's good, it's good. I love the tempo of the pin sets that Temple's able to dish out. I think it's really quick, it's really high level, it beats a lot of blocks. I think it's been a little rocky today. It's been a little on and off, but when it's good, it's good.
Nice save by Askew. Now Temple in system. Jelinski the dump, knocked down. Wow, good play at the net.
A dump in transition is really hard to defend, right? Everybody's moving to where they're supposed to be from, base to defense. So I think that's a really smart play. It kind of throws off the tempo.
Here's Carlia Northcross. We've noted her serving. She helped end set 2 at the service line. Targets Danielson, a nice punch save.
Great out-of-system swing.
Marinelli, good scoot down line. McBride. Is that him?
Ooh.
Wow, called out.
That was close. Oh, we're going to see a challenge, I bet.
I think we challenged to calling it live, so that's a good call by Linda Hampton-Keith.
It was very close.
Now you can challenge both the net touch and the in-out call this year.
Yes, which is really nice because in the past, whatever you challenged, you were kind of married to that. So if you called the touch at the net and it ended up being in, when I was in college, okay, well, you didn't challenge the right thing, sorry. Which doesn't necessarily make sense. So I'm really glad that they ended up changing that rule.
Let's check the first part here. Is there a touch?
Let's take a look. Ooh, maybe.
Maybe a touch. And then the in-out part.
Ooh, it was in lengthwise, but it might have been wide.
Okay, this will be our best angle.
Let's see. Ooh, I didn't see her fingers move, actually.
Ugh.
I don't think she touched that up there.
Okay, then part 2 is the in-out line, which this angle will help.
Yeah, let's take a look.
Awesome job by our crew today. This is really helpful.
I know, they're crushing.
Let's see. Hard to tell on net touch, and then...
Oh, just missed it on the corner. But they're calling touch. All the girls have their hands up. Let's take another look.
I love the eyes of a blocker.
Right?
They are just staring dead to rights on the hitter.
And that's something you learn. Eye sequencing is definitely something that you train when you're young.
Call stands.
Wow.
Oh, sorry, call's overturned. Temple.
So he said it was in. That was the call. Was not a touch call. He called it in. But there could have been a touch and it would have been in, so then it would have been called in anyway. Let's see.
The way I'm interpreting that is Doug is saying it's an in call and not a touch.
Correct, but it could be both theoretically because it got touched and then got in, which is kind of confusing. But it doesn't matter. As long as it's in, they're rolling with it. Not quite point-for-point volleyball right now, but still a very exciting game.
And all of that drama of a replay to give a point back on a service here, that's tough.
I know, it's tough. It is tough. And now you have your libero back in, Danielson, in right back, serve receive.
Which that's something Adler Augustin's told us all year. His team has to learn to overcome these 4 or 5 point swings and get right back into scoring.
Exactly.
These two clubs are littered with 5-set matches this year. They both played tight contests. Evanstead the push set, and it works nicely.
It's up.
Danielson saves it to her coach, and a kill for the Pirate freshman.
I love, they're leaving McBride in now for Temple, which I think has really helped on the serve receive and defensive side. They brought her in that second set just for kind of a serve, outlet, and then they'd hide her in serve receive, and now she's kind of getting to play a little bit more of a role, which I think is really wise.
4th service error for ECU. Temple has 8 service errors today. That just caught me by off guard a little bit.
Boyd coming back in for Temple. Another one of those. This is that 6'4", 6'4", 6'1" front line that might pose to be a little bit of a challenge.
From the littles in the back to the tall ones in the front.
Yes. Wow, another missed serve.
That's just trading points back and forth. You can ill afford to do it.
How many is that up to now for Temple?
9.
Lordy.
Now Temple coming in had 276 errors at the line. That's the most in the American Athletic.
And it does come back to haunt you because even if you wouldn't have won the point off of the serve, you're still giving yourself that opportunity.
Nice block at the net. Alderetti with the roof.
Fantastic block. It seems like the blocking is starting to get kind of spread out. It's not just one person or the other. Let's take another peek.
Good job pressing forward and in. Wow, through a triple team. There's the freshman Mikowski.
I love that Temple answered with that by running kind of a completely different play. You saw the middle kind of doing an in-between outside and middle set. They might call that a 32 or a C or whatever. But again, if you're noticing that a bunch of your hitters are getting blocked, it's really good to mix up your offense and be a little less predictable.
Case in point, Temple hitting 290 in this set, giving trouble on the serve. This has got to go in.
Oh.
And it does.
No ceiling contact.
Mikowski terminates. Great job by Temple putting that ball away.
Exactly. We've seen them struggle a little bit earlier in the match with getting a free ball and converting. But now, you know, really doing a great job getting Mikowski in the offense.
We'll take the media timeout. Temple looking to hang around in set 3. Welcome back to Minji's Coliseum here in Greenville. ECU and Temple. Final home match for the Pirates today. And here's Temple hanging around in set 3.
Very pivotal for them to keep this lead here in this third set as they are down 0-2.
And the service errors may come back to bite Linda Hampton Keith's club. That's 10 today.
Double-digit service errors. They're about to have a whole 5th set of service errors.
Which in a match that's been decided by 2 points in the second, a late run in the first, those are costly points.
And again, you can't guarantee that you would win those points if you served it over, but you would at least be giving your team the opportunity.
And if you're playing in pickleball, you lose a chance to score.
That's what I'm saying.
Whereas in volleyball, it's rally scoring, so it doesn't always matter as much. Point Temple on the shoot kill.
Let's take a look. We have a new middle up now. Kayla Spells back rotated. She's from Cary, North Carolina, so local to the area.
And credit to her, bioengineering major with a 3.3 GPA. That's impressive. There's a dump down for Yelena Prolish.
She puts the student in student athlete.
I never asked you about your GPA. We asked about your business major, but...
You don't need to talk about my GPA.
Hey, the point is you have a job now. You run your own marketing
I
firm.
got into my master's program, so it was high enough to do that.
I had the assumption you were smart. You don't have to prove me otherwise. Shoot.
It was high enough, but it wasn't. I don't think I was Wake Forest smart, but I think I'm smart.
Good rally here in this third set. And a block that goes out. Krushko couldn't navigate it back in.
Kind of the double-edged sword of being a fantastic blocking team. You know, you're going to have errors on that block as well. And what I love about the block is there's really no rest for Temple. You have, you know, Alderete at 3. We have Marinelli at 1, Hall at 4, another Hall at 1, you know, Evanstad at 1. I mean, and more players, again, 3 other players who also have notched blocks. So it's like, no matter what rotation you're in, it's not like you're really necessarily getting a break from getting blocked.
Yeah, final challenge for East Carolina coming up here. If you win it, you keep it. If you lose it, you're out of challenges till the 5th.
And looking by how this set is going, that might be a little bit of a stressful place to be. But if they win this set, they come back and ride some points, there's not going to be a fourth or a fifth. So let's take a peek. Ooh, that looked very in from this angle, but I'll wait and see what we have. Again, ooh.
Any part of that white tape and it's in. Doesn't help when the ball's white, but let's see.
That's close.
Do we have the technology to zoom in on that shot would be the question. We do not. Got an answer from the Word of God in my headset there.
Yeah, we're asking a lot of our crew. This has already been amazing.
Doesn't that look in?
I think it does. I think this is a deceiving angle, though, too. It would be really hard to see the gap between the ball and the court from this angle.
That's the minute difference between a point and the loss of a challenge. Let's see. Just a reminder, the referees reviewing this can zoom in on their angles.
Oh, wow.
And the call's overturned. Point ECU.
Oh, they're not super happy about that. But again, if you're Temple, you have a nice lead. It's still 15-11.
How as a player do you overcome
down.
that challenge, right? Because you're Temple, you lose a point, you think you won.
You got to talk about the next play. You have to get into the serve-receive mindset. If you're a defender, getting ready, seeing who's back there, who has seam, who's doing what. And then as the setter, you need to decide offensively, what are you running? And as a hitter, you got to want the ball. You just need to move on to the next one. Volleyball is definitely a game of short-term memory.
Temple's lost 3 straight, trying to avoid falling in a big hole here in set 3.
Wow.
Good dig by Singleton. Now she swings. Looked like a back row player there.
Right?
This has to go back in play. It does. What a rally. Boyd the touch. Alderetti the blast. Saved and in.
And you can do that. It can be ugly on the first touch. There's not much that you can't do to get that ball up. Let's take a look. Beautiful set to the outside, off of the outside hand of the middle. And now that's live.
Yeah, Danielson, a nice job knocking that back in.
Exactly. And as a defender, really, that's all you need to do.
That serve gives it right back to Temple. And this is the point where the Owls have struggled in set 1. Give up that 10-point swing.
This is just on the cusp. I would say when I played, I didn't feel like I was really coming back or really, really into it until it was like a 3-point difference. Or on the flip side, I never felt kind of nervous until it was within 3 points. So it's just on the cusp of being an extremely competitive set.
Nice dig by
Wow.
Beckham, who had 20 digs on Sunday. Leading to Danielson, saving it. Another battle that's put down by North Cross.
I love that play. We can see Prolish got another opportunity at kind of the backwards windmill, but not enough to get the point. Both these teams are pretty scrappy.
2 teams with not much to play for record-wise, but they're working hard tonight. Prolish again into the block, and that's Trouse.
A lot of blocking on Prolish. I think her team, a lot of times when you're setting, as a defender, if you're covering your outside hitter, you're going to be calling what's open, where they should hit. I think the defenders need to do a good job looking and seeing and talking to her a little bit, because I'm not sure what her sight on the court is looking like at this point.
ECU leads the American in blocks per set. They have 8 today, making an impact. That sneaks through the block. Prolish with the kill.
She's just determined to break it down, and that's really a great strategy as well. She has a really heavy arm. She has a hard swing, so if you can break through the block, the only damage is a double-edged sword. If it doesn't break through the block, it's coming that much harder right back at you.
Critical points for Temple, and that's a ill-advised serving error.
Is that 11?
Yep.
That's 11.
It's adding up quick.
4 more, and that'll be the equivalent of a 5th set, which is to 15 points. That's a lot. You really do not want more than 2 per set or a 1-to-1 ratio.
It's 11-5.
Yeah, they've only had 5 aces, which is a lot.
And it leads to an ace for the Pirates. There's Northcross, which now that point compounds itself a bit. You give away a serve, and then you give away an ace.
All of a sudden, we have a 17-16 game, and this is the deciding match deciding set, excuse me, depending on how East Carolina performs. If East Carolina wins this set, that's game, set, match, if you will.
Then they'll start eating some turkey here soon.
Exactly.
So we also asked the crew, what do you like to eat? Now, stuffing is an interesting conversation here. There's dressing stuffing or the thick stuffing. And it looks like regular stuffing's the winner.
I'm a huge fan. I said stuffing.
How about Director Mike? He just wants ham. He just wants honey baked, put it on a platter.
Honey baked ham is fantastic.
This makes me hungry, just looking at this. And then Jay, who must have some Eastern North Carolina beach tendencies, that oyster dressing.
Oyster dressing.
Wow.
Watson's Aunt Mary Ann's dressing. That's so specific. What? How complimentary to
Where is this
Aunt
Watson?
Mary Ann.
Where do I find Watson? The slash camera. Okay. Watson, I'm going to your place for Thanksgiving. He's right.
I see you.
There, I see him over there, the slash cam.
Yeah, that sounds good. Shout out Aunt Mary Ann. And then just Micah, just chicken, nothing else. Nothing really crazy on here though. Like my Peepaw, he always liked cranberry sauce. Very specific. I'm like, he just needed something to dip it in. There we go. Hi, Watson.
Yeah, big. There you see him. I wish he had a platter of food up there, not just operating the camera.
I know. They had Chick-fil-A before the game, though, so can't be too upset about that.
I had the brownies, too. Oh, man. Delicious.
I refrained. I didn't want to be all chocolatey for the game.
Alongside Haley Brooke Weiss from our Wake Forest standout in the back row, Evan Budrovich here. Good touch by Boyd, and it falls down. Kayla Spells with the kill.
She hasn't really done that a whole lot. I love when a player tips because they see it and they have good court vision, not just tipping because, oh, this was a bad set and I need to tip it.
Yeah, going up with the intent to kill and then putting it away.
We can see libero's out right now for Temple, so this has been kind of a tougher rotation for them.
Trows, the tip. Nice save. Davenport through the double, and a point for Temple.
This game is starting to get away from East Carolina a little bit, and we'll see a timeout. I'm sure they're about to talk about strategy, what they're going to run in serve receive.
So at this point in the year, right, 1 week to go, the big question is who's in, who's out in the NCAA tournament. As of today, UCF would be a national seed in their side of the bracket, and that'd be a really good regional. Baylor, Colorado's in the top half of the Pac-12, and Central Florida, who only has 1 loss all year. Man, Simon, you have to go to Waco for that one.
Right? I know in college, we played against Colorado, I remember, in an out-of-conference tournament. And, I mean, pretty much our whole team got horrible altitude sickness. And the ball moves a little bit differently in their arena. So their arena for volleyball, I'm not sure if it's the same for basketball, but I'd say it's about the size of this here. Maybe a little smaller if I recall. And that ball, you know, when you play in these big arenas, it kind of moves a little bit more. So that paired with the altitude, the ball would move a lot. And, I mean, you felt like the Hulk in there because you felt like you're tapping it.
Yeah.
And it was just flying. So I always love to see how, like, Colorado particularly goes against other teams at other venues.
And this region will be really neat because Georgia Tech with Julia Bergman, she leads the country in kills per set. She's really good. Houston's had a great year, obviously undefeated in the AAC. And then LSU, you can never sleep on the Tigers. So that'll be a fun, fun region.
I love those teams that also have, you know, LSU, a lot of their players also double on the beach side, and they've, you know, been super successful in the sand as well.
Won a sand national championship 2 years prior.
Not too shabby, right?
USC Trojans, the reigning beach champions, is already with a kill. She quietly has 19 today.
I don't know if you can quietly have 19. Hitting a 333 on the day, which again is fantastic for an outside hitter. I would say anything over like 250 is starting to be really, really dominant.
These teams are fighting for middle seeding in the conference. Friday, the winners are on the line, Houston and UCF. Chance to possibly host a Region 2 if you win.
Ooh.
Krusko. Whoa, nice defense. That's a tough spot for Prolish, down line. Beckham keeps it up, and a kill for the Owls. You see Prolish, they're begging
She's
her team
saying,
on.
"Come on.
Keep feeding me.
We got to keep this momentum going."
Keep
and again,
feeding that stuffing.
get the stuffing. At the net, preferably, but, you know, again, that super tall front line, 6'4", 6'4", 6'1" for Temple.
Prolish in double figures for the 12th time this year.
It's nice to have long arms.
Oh, good kill. Marinelli, first time we've called her name in the set. She now has 11.
And that was the first time Temple really defended that setter dump. We see out of system set from libero. It's tough. I mean, middle back is so difficult to play. You're supposed to be in the seam of the block, but so many times you can't see back there. You're kind of playing defense blind, so you have to have very quick reaction time.
ECU back within 1. We've seen the Pirates come back in all 3 sets today. What must Temple do to put this set away?
It all starts with the pass. Right here, they're going to have to get one good serve-receive pass. And really looking at the stats, you're going to want to get it over to your outside.
Davenport offhanded.
Wow, what a cover.
Alderetti. That stays in. Another chance for the freshman. Through the block. 20 kills for Angeles Alderetti.
Temple really getting beat at the net at this point. We see, you know, good touches, but it's tough. It's really, really tough with that awareness to necessarily know where that ball is landed. So we can see in here they're going to be talking a lot about what they're going to be doing in serve receive. It's really a game to 5 at this point. We can see the series history. Interesting. So Temple does lead the series 9-6.
And East Carolina, they've won 4 of the last 5. So recently, it's been all ECU. Just a recent history in the American Athletic.
But we also know Temple seems to be a little bit better on the road, so kind of depends.
And as a player, right, I don't know if these numbers actually matter. I don't think you sit there and go, well, I'm 9-6 all
you
time against ECU.
You have no idea about these numbers. Let me tell you, in college, I had no idea.
Now, maybe you knew, hey, the last time we played them, we did X, Y, and Z well.
Yes. You kind of have a gist of what happened the last time, but I'm like, I don't know what happened in 1995's match, you know?
A little more recent history with these two is they'll be 2 of the heavy hitters still in the American next year. Ooh, nice.
I know she's getting her moves. I'm loving it. I want to know whose mama that is.
If I had to guess, it'd be Kayla Spells. I know she's from Cary, but I'm just taking an educated guess. I don't know for sure.
That's true. Would be an easy travel for them here.
Maybe Taylor Davenport out of Columbia, South Carolina. Not too bad either.
That's true. That's not a long drive.
Good to see families in attendance here on Thanksgiving week. And a kill. Boyd with a soft touch.
Great pass. And then that tip seems to be really lethal. They haven't tipped unless they've been forced too much this match. So it's been really fun to see kind of that controlled finesse play be really successful against ECU that's kind of dug back in their heels.
That goes out. A costly mistake for Davenport.
12. Whew.
And sort of fitting these teams to play football on Saturday.
I know, and those never really have anything to do with one another, I don't think, at least.
Final regular season game for Holton Ahlers, the ECU homegrown quarterback. And then bowl season begins. That's always fun. Nice job splitting the block. Mikowski.
Temple really stepping up their serve receive, really throwing in those dimes. Shimao is not playing there in the back row. She's been really, really strong for the Owls.
Danielson to serve. 3 points from the set. This has been the bugaboo for Temple all day long, closing out sets. Another kill for Krusko.
That's a great swing. It's really fun to see her court vision being able to really get an idea of where she wants to put that ball. Although that's only her 2nd kill today, she is hitting 500 now.
At this point in the game, just be efficient.
That's what I'm saying.
ECU's overcome deficits in both sets to lead 2-0.
Another great pass.
Boyd blasts one-on-one, and she wins it.
Temple really figuring it out on the serve-receive side and giving their offense a chance to convert. We can see a perfect set that gives you a nice one-on-one situation that really neutralizes that strong East Carolina block.
Alderetti. Now the Owls swinging in transition. Blocked out. Set point, Temple.
Still potentially a lot of game left. I believe East Carolina does not have any timeouts this set, right? So they kind of got to deal with it.
McBride serving for the set. Big swing here. Alderetti blasts one. 21 kills.
I would have set her too. I think that was the move. Let's take a look at Alderetti. Fantastically sharp angle, thumb down, and really Temple has only had 2 blocks today. So if you're ECU, all you're really worried about is getting dug and potentially having to have them run the offense back at you, whereas East Carolina has 8 blocks today and infinite more touches than that.
Temple the swing for the set. Jelinska.
Surprised they didn't call a double. A lot of people on the bench not too happy.
Marinelli terminates, and we have bonus points in set 3.
But one thing about the double call, you can see coach is not very happy about that. One thing about the double call is it's a judgment call. You can't do a replay on it. You can't do a challenge. It's really just fully what the up ref thinks.
Beauty in the eyes of the beholder. 24 a pop, off the net.
It's up.
Danielson saves it.
I love seeing this hustle out of Temple here at the end of this 3rd set.
Another save for Danielson. Jelinska inside the antenna, but out. Match point, ECU.
Definitely not the kind of set you want to make an error on. I know that that's a really tough set, but that's one of the ones you know you're probably not going to get a kill. Put it in play and let your team survive, right? Survive in advance.
Match point for East Carolina. That shot long, no touch at the net. And
they
the
might
Pirates
call a challenge.
Hold on a second.
Hold on.
Here.
This happened in the last game that I announced as well, a challenge on game point.
And you have to use the challenge here.
Oh, yeah.
Final challenge for Temple, and we'll talk this over. Challenging a net touch.
Challenging a touch.
Douglas Fagan, there is a lot on the line with this decision. Match is over, or we continue at 25 apiece?
So a stark difference depending on what happens. This is definitely the most important and impactful challenge of this match.
Seeing it live, did you notice a touch? I wasn't certain there.
I thought it was potentially possible just because of how far it really went. It was kind of shocking, you know, to see a ball. You know, a lot of times you don't see balls sail 10, 11 feet out unless there was a little extra something.
Let's see. Big decision.
Only, let's see. Ooh.
It would be the middle who would have touched it.
Yeah, so only one blocker to really look at. Let's take a look.
That's North Cross in the middle.
Ooh.
Oh.
That's what I'm saying. Don't you think it kind of had that trajectory after a little bit after watching it?
It makes you squirm because it's so close, and this decides the match.
I think there might have been a touch, actually. Hold on. Let's see. That angle's hard because you're only seeing the right side's hands, really.
Now, that swing path is not a downward trajectory. She's trying to hit it to the back row, but...
No, I definitely think it would have been out on its own if not touched. But it's just, was there a little pinky on it? Was there a little something? Looks like he's about made his decision.
Okay, Doug, what do you got for us? Match point coming up.
Okay. I'm on the edge of my seat.
If the call stands, ECU wins on Senior Day. If the call changes, we continue at 25 apiece.
More volleyball. I don't think anybody would necessarily mind more volleyball.
Wait a second.
But you want that win. What? I've never seen this. I have never seen a down ref approach a coach in a challenge. This is really strange. I have no idea what he could be saying. Maybe he's clarifying what she was calling or who.
Okay,
was
here's the
touching.
decision. Actually, wait. A full
And
explanation.
now he's going over here. Can you read lips?
Oh, wow. Could they call this a redo point?
Are they complaining about where the players are on the bench? Because technically, your bench players aren't allowed to come, you know, forward on the court at all, and sometimes they tend to creep a little bit, and I saw him kind of glance at the bench, but this is pure speculation. Our team got called for that a lot.
Oh, okay, so we have the explanation.
Ooh.
The replay system was off for the moment, so it's being rebooted, and then they'll check the replay.
Oh, so they haven't even looked at the replay.
Yeah, so that it was like, hey, coaches, we don't have it yet. We're going to reload the system and then check the replay.
Interesting. What a horrible time for that to happen. But if you
Can I
thought
order
the game
some Uber
was
Eats in the meantime?
over, you know, maybe you would have thought to turn it off. Let's look.
Okay,
This
keep
is
an
the
eye on
angle where I
North Cross.
thought there might have been a touch. Because the trajectory of the ball, I thought it went down and up a little bit. Straight and then, woo.
Is that left pinky finger or right pinky finger?
That's kind of what I was thinking. Middle blocker, right pinky finger. Let's see.
You're right, though. This shot would have gone out regardless.
For sure. I do not think it was necessarily set for success. You like my pun?
You could be on the Oprah Winfrey show with that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. This might be a good angle. North
It was
Cross.
a tough set, though. There was a double block. You know, the pass kind of moved the setter forward. She's setting off one leg with the momentum going into the net.
I think her hand's behind the
It's
ball.
tough.
Yeah, I don't. Just watching that last angle, it looks like her hand gets up a bit late.
And reminder, you know, he can, you know, the down ref can look at this play zoomed in. So he might be seeing something that we aren't even aware of.
So the replay system's been rebooted. Now they got to make sure it's plugged in. I think the power may not be plugged in. Well, I feel like I'm Tim the handyman.
I know. Does he want to come look at our screen?
Hey, Doug, come over here.
We've kind of made up our minds over here.
We'll show you the replay.
Yeah.
And you have to see this through. You cannot end a match
Oh, no.
with saying, okay, here we go. Make sure the login code's right.
What a weird way to potentially end your career.
No, you're not kidding. Final week of the regular season. Great point.
I wouldn't love this for either team. You know, it's kind of at the point where it's like, all right, let's figure it out one way or the other.
This is a tough way to end it. Current call is out. That's a good reminder. Okay, hold on.
Let's see. Chatting again. Yeah,
Oh.
this is very extenuating.
Oh my gosh, do they not have the angle?
Maybe he doesn't have it. What do you do? Do they do a replay?
I don't want to speculate here, but that'd be the question, right? Do you redo the point?
I'd be pretty mad if I was East Carolina and I thought I just won the game and they're going to make us replay because they weren't sure.
And
I don't know. So they're trying to figure it out. I wonder if he could come look at our monitors. I don't know if we'd be much help. Inquisitive looking.
you could conference all the refs together and get second opinions. I think Doug is walking possibly
Do a
our
little
way.
vote, a little democracy on this point. I'm telling you, I think you should come over here. That would be fun. Oh, we have Temple's floor captain coming to chat with the up ref.
So both captains now getting the explanation from Kevin Wendelby.
And I can't hear it. Can you? This is right in front of where we're sitting, but it's pretty loud in here.
I think it goes back to the root of the problem, right? If you don't have the angle.
Yeah.
And the call is challenged, so you have to look at it.
Okay, well, let's see. I mean, it seems like this thing is coming to a head.
I think they're going to have to stick with the call on the court unless there's another angle they can find.
I don't know. I feel like if they can't see it, you can't just say, okay, I guess the original call stands. You know, they've had several overturned. Oh, here we go. Temple's floor captain's back out. It looks like that might be the case, though, because it doesn't look like she's overly happy.
Huh. I've never seen this before.
I see the assistant coach, Jordan, for Temple, putting her hands up in the replay motion like, hey, let's just replay it. So maybe that was something that was on the table. But I can see emotions are definitely starting to run a little bit high. I'm
and you mentioned
feeling the agitation.
Seniors ending their career.
Yeah. I mean, I would be agitated. I would be right there with them. You at least want them to, that's match.
So the match is over.
This is not what Temple thought was going to happen. They are not lining up for high fives.
Temple wanted to extend this, and East Carolina
this is very unusual.
wants to celebrate the end of this.
Yeah, they're playing the win-win-win song. They do not look happy.
And as they deservingly so wanted an explanation. Now, we think the call's right.
It's a tight game. They did lose 2 sets prior to this. I agree with all of that. But I definitely, if I was Temple, would have wanted maybe the down ref to come take a look at even our monitors or replay it or something. This is very, very unusual. And
I think the point of the story is the call is right, but there's no 100% way to confirm it.
Correct. There's no challenge. You know, if you can't review it, there's not really a challenge in order. So, we got some walking and talking. Coaches walking and talking with the down ref. This is like having our own volleyball talk show, Evan.
Coming up on 104.5. No, just kidding.
Thanks for listening to our volleyball podcast. Let's take a look. This is really unusual.
Yeah, so even though Kevin, the head ref, and there's Douglas, the R2, they have confirmed, but without an official challenge, right? Like you're saying the point stands.
They're confirming it based on their live view of it.
Right.
Which is fine. But then she called a challenge, but because the camera went out, there was no challenge to be had. So now they're saying, like, okay, it's just game over. And so Temple's like, what do you mean?
We have a challenge left.
We have a challenge. We want to challenge that call is incorrect. So how could the game be over? And so what Temple's wanting is for there to be a replay because of this issue. And obviously ECU's lined up here at the net. They're ready to go home, eat their pizza, and eat their turkey and get their Thanksgiving on.
Or as our crew has said, the stuffing.
I mean, I'm team stuffing too.
Yeah, and I understand Linda's frustration here.
Man, I would definitely be very frustrated if I was Temple. Do I think that the odds of them losing this game after losing 2 sets was probably high?
And I think we're in unison that the call will stand.
But yes, I would be surprised if it didn't. I'm not sure if you can persuade them or bully them or get them to, you know, whatever word you want to use. I'm not sure that you can get them to change their minds at this point.
I appreciate a coach fighting for a senior class, too.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's what I would want my coach to do. And I'm sure if it was in the reverse, East Carolina would definitely be fighting for it. You know, you don't want your career to end on such ambiguity.
The kids are ready to have fun.
Yeah, they have no idea what's going on. They're just vibing. They're adorable.
That is really cute.
They're little pirate stuff.
If the call stands, ECU moves to 7-12 in the conference. Chance for their best finish in the Adler-Augustin era. Although this match technically isn't officially over yet.
It's still going. It's still going.
It's been signaled over, but it hasn't been confirmed over.
No, the stat book is still open. There's definitely a little bit of fighting going on here.
I don't know in the rule book what happens in this situation, and I know a lot of things in the rule
When
book.
tech fails. Technology's gone too far. I mean, imagine if they decide to go replay this point and Temple gets back there and like misses their serve for the 13th time. I mean, like, stuff like this is just so weird.
And this is a 4-0 ECU run to end the set, so Temple's had chances.
Oh, yeah, they had match point.
And I see Linda saying, hey, can we check the, well, now we got a breakout dance party going on.
She sees the cameras. I mean, she knows that the ESPN Plus.
Remember, it is senior
AAC
day, so
crew is
a
out
bunch of
here.
the seniors are
I know, they're partying.
dancing around.
I'd be partying. I would be both people in both of these scenarios. I think both teams are very warranted in how they feel. It's just, you know, a tech failure. It looks like staff or Temple, you know, they're getting the stats handed to them so they can review stats potentially for the next play. You have outside hitters talking to setters. I mean, they're talking like, you know, this game is not over. We're strategizing.
Okay, I think this match is being wrapped up.
I mean, he grabbed his water bottle. He's ready to go home.
A lot of questions being asked of Douglas Fagan, and some fair questions, too.
Definitely looks like it's coming to a close. I see some pointing. He could, let's see.
Okay, hold
He's
on.
walking towards us. I want to get involved. I've said from the jump he can come look at our monitors. I will gladly offer mine up.
I wish I knew if it was in the rules to check the stream replay, or if it's just the official replay that's designated. I don't know.
That's true. That's a good point.
It may not be in the rules.
None of this is in the rules. We're going rogue at this point.
Oh, hold on. Okay.
Oh, wow. We are giving them our monitor.
Okay, so we're going to
Okay,
cue it up
you're
from the
gonna see
stream, and
us.
what you guys see live is what everyone else is going to see. And we'll take a gander.
Okay. This is so exciting.
They're going to run it now.
So we're going to see exactly what they see.
Oh, guys, sorry.
Oh. ECU coach is involved. Again, we're going to see that net view. And we might be reviewing this several times. Again, they're watching live on our monitors, seeing exactly what they're seeing. So we can see hands go up here. We kind of talked about, is there a potential trajectory change on that ball? Maybe. We're going to take a look at that net view after this. This is a really pivotal view as well. It's a little bit more difficult to see the middle blocker's hands here on this one. But let's take a look. And also be watching for the trajectory of that ball. Did the ball go up at all? Did the ball change trajectory at all? We're going to take a look, because it's a little bit difficult, as you all can see at home, to see the exact fingers on that middle blocker. You can kind of see her fingers wrap around after, but that doesn't necessarily mean that she touched it.
So we have a final decision coming in.
It is out.
And the
game
call stands.
is over. But you know what? I'm happy that coach fought for her team. They would have called this match, and she got them to at least review it.
I appreciate they got the call right. You know, it took time, and they had to look through it, but the correct call was made.
An exciting day of volleyball here.
East Carolina moves to 7-12 in the AAC, led by their standout freshman, Angeles Alderetti, with 21 kills today.
Definitely an amazing night She's gonna definitely be sleeping good tonight for Turkey Day. I mean, she shredded the court. Let's take a few peeps at Temple's.
Yeah, that's the final point that ends it.
ECU had 4 straight points to lead to that. We can see kind of the match summary.
And how about sets 2 and 3? ECU fights off set point and wins it.
So tight. There was 12 serving errors from Temple, which I think, you know, I'm no mathematician, but if you added all this up, I think it would have been a very different match. But it's tough. You know, you want to balance being aggressive and, you know, getting aces and making too many errors.
Final week of the volleyball season, and we had a fun one here in 3 sets. For Haley Brooke Weiss, I'm Evan Budrovich. Thank you for joining us. It was senior day here in Greenville, a tight 3-set matchup that came down to every replay imaginable. We want to thank our hardworking crew all year long on ESPN+. They've been excellent. And for all of us here in Greenville, we say good afternoon. Enjoy your Thanksgiving as ECU wins it in straight sets.